this week, scientists mentioned from NASA that they have noticed an asteroid called 2024 YR4, and they give it a 1.2% chance to collide with Earth on 2032. So we're going to look at the information that came through, the information that was shared with us from NASA and also from the European Space Agency. We'll also look at the simulation to see where the path of that asteroid will be, as well as information about the DART mission, which a few years back, I think it's 2020, we sent a probe towards a dual asteroid, and we hit one of them to see if we could change the direction of an asteroid by impact. So we're going to talk about all of this on this video. So on this, if you're new to this channel, my name is Alain Faber, and I've been teaching in high school for more than 25 years, and I do these videos for fun, and also answering questions from the audience when they come through. So let's see if we can look at the first information. So from NASA, we have, let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. We have that we have designated asteroid 2024 YR4, indicate that more than 1.1% chance of impacting Earth on December 22nd, 2032. So depending on where you go, some people say 1%, some people say 1.2%. We're going to look at the information here. So that means that there's 99% chance that there will be no impact. The chances are that there will be no impact, but it's interesting to pay attention to the information. So let's see from here, the European Space Agency. So what did we learn? And we learned that from January 29th, so it's a few days ago. So let's see what we've got. We have that there's 99% chance of safely passing Earth, so that's a good thing. But we'll also look at the fact that this asteroid will come through and pass close by to Earth on 2028 as well. The estimated diameter of this asteroid is about 50 meters, but they're not quite sure yet. It's too early to determine the exact potential of impact, because here from 2025 to 2032, that brings us a good 7 years, so that's a long time. We have, let's see. Perfect. So let's see if we can look at some information that is interesting. So there was a little video not too long ago that was fun. No, that's not this one right here. Perfect. So this is a simulation of what it, let's see if I can move it a bit further so we can have a quick look. Perfect. So here, this is a simulation as of January 29th, a couple of days ago, and it shows here the asteroids that is right here. Let's see if I can make it closer so that you can see it. So Earth is right here. We have the asteroid, and in blue we have the orbit. So we have an asteroid orbiting around the sun, and it's getting close to Earth every 3 to 4 years, depending on the years. So let's see what else we can show you. So I'm going to just bring it back here a little bit. So here, if you look, I'm going to go back just here. Perfect. So if I do a play, you will notice that things are moving. We have the sun here. I need to see it a bit closer. I think that'd be more fun for you. Perfect. So we have the sun here. We have Mercury, Venus, and Earth. And you can see that the asteroid that we've noticed is moving away from Earth. But if it's moving away, looking at this in our orbit right here, when is it coming back close to Earth? So now it's 2025. We're going to go to 20. So here we have the planets orbiting. Let's see, we have here, oops, I just went a bit too far. Perfect. So this is 2028. So what's interesting here, we have the asteroids right here, and it will cross path with Earth, possibly the Earth orbit twice. So here you could see this is in October 2028. If we move it further, so here there's a distance. That's nothing to worry about, but you can see here that the paths will get much closer. Now, what's interesting, if you look at the predicted distance, we have here 0.05 astronomical units. So it's quite close right here. So we'll have more information. But what's interesting, when I look at the data for 2032. So here you could see we have the distance that is moving further away. So here the scientists are saying we need to know in 2028 the behavior of that asteroid to have a better idea. So this is very close. If we go to 2032 at the end of the year, you will notice that here you have the asteroids coming close to Earth right here. But what you will notice, so this is April and May. Let's see if we can go a bit further, a bit like this. Very nice. So here we are in December. You could see here that the distance is getting much smaller, but the distance never went under from the model here, never went under 0.1 astronomical unit. So that means that in 2028, the distance might be half of what it will be in 2032. So here I'm not quite sure if there's an issue with the model or if they're just saying 2032 so that the humans are not worried about it right now. So that was interesting information that I've noticed. Let's see what else we can find that is interesting. There was a link. Let's see if I can find it. A link of humans noticing or seeing the information. So where is it? I need to see it. Is it this one right here? No. Okay, thank you for your. So this one. Oh, that's this one right here. So I'm gonna go to YouTube. So here it goes very fast. It's this point. Oops, I'm gonna go again. It's this point right here that the astronomers have noticed. I'm gonna play it a few times. You're gonna see it's right in the middle, pointing. See, it's right here. So it's a celestial object moving around close to the Earth. So that is interesting that way. Very nice. The other video that was interesting from the space agency is the following. So the European Space Agency. It just shows how do we know if there will be an impact or not. So what's interesting is that an asteroid, so we have Earth here, asteroids will come close, but what happened, it all depends how it interacts with the gravity of our planet. So if it goes straight, there's no problem. If it's attracted by Earth, then it all depends how much the trajectory will be changed. If the trajectory is changed just a little bit, then we have an asteroid that will go straight. If it happens that the gravity is attracting more this asteroid, what will happen here is that the asteroid gets attracted by the gravity of Earth and you can have a collision. So that is something that could happen, and we hope this will not happen indeed. So let's see what are the other information I have on this that was interesting. Oh yes. So here they were talking about how we are measuring impact of asteroids. So if you are talking about the Richter scale, so it's a scale for all those again, earthquakes, there you go. We have what we call the Torino impact. So the Torino impacts were designed about with respect to asteroids and comet hazard. So if we have here a level 0, the likelihood of a collision is 0. So that's easy. If it's normal, we have a routine discovery that passed near the Earth, but it's predicted that it won't cause any issues. Now, what's interesting with this one here, with 2024 YR4, it was brought up to a level 3, which is a close encounter meriting attention by astronomer. Currently, calculations give a 1% or greater, so at this point it's 1.2%. Chance of collision capable of localized destruction. Now keep in mind that if it's 1% chance of collision, there's 99% chance of not having any issues. But here it's still something to look into. Most likely new telescopic observation will lead to reassignment to a level 0, which means there'll be no worries. Attention by public and public officials is merited if encountered is less than a decade away. So here they're predicting it for 2032, which is about 7 years from now. Well, it's this, so 7.5 or so. Now the question here is that what happens with the study? So if it happens when it comes back close to us in 2028, let's see if I can make it bigger. So when the asteroid gets closer to us in 2028, what you'll see is that they will recalculate the orbit around the sun, and then they will say, okay, is there a possibility that we can bring the merit attention to a zero where we should not worry about it, or should we just increase the urgency to deal with it? Now, what would happen if there is an asteroid and there's a potential of hitting Earth? Now, scientists and NASA are playing with astronomical object. So here I'm going to share with you a project they did a few years back. So that's in 2022. So here they had a project that was called DART. DART was a double asteroid redirection test. So what they did, they took two asteroids. So we have the larger one in the middle, and we have a small one that is orbiting this asteroid. So the purpose of the project was to find a way to hit the small one and see if we could change its orbit around the main asteroids. Keep in mind that if we are hitting an object in space just a little bit, enough to change its trajectory, we can decrease from, let's say, an urgency or an imminent issue to decreasing to a level where there'll be no contact with the Earth, and that's something we could do. So I have a few videos on that project. So I did love this one right here. So that video dates from 2022. So what happens, we have, let's see that the sun is here and Earth can watch. We have here Didymos, which was the main one here. And I forget the name of the other one. That's not good. I made a video on that in 2022. That was fun. Okay, so what we have here, and I'll share with you. So this is 1536. Oops. So as we have here, we can see the light of this object right here, and we have light from the orbiting asteroid. So what happened here is that you have twice the light here. That gives us a baseline of light. When we have the light, when we have this small orbiting asteroids going in the shadow, what happens here is that we have less of energy or light energy coming our way, and you'll see the dip. There you go. So you see the dip here in decrease in light quantity. Now, what happens if I go a bit early this way? So I think it's going to show it to us. So here, energy goes down, and we have the baseline. But when it comes in front here, what happens here is that there's a decrease of the light coming to us, because here is no longer the light from the large asteroid and the small asteroid together, but they're part of the same. So what happened is a little dip in brightness, and that's beautiful because using this information, we were able to predict. Let's see if I can finish the graph. We were able to predict the period of the orbital period, so how much time it took for the small asteroid to orbit around this larger one. So that was important, because once we know that, then they figured out that, okay, we need to send our probe and hit this one, but we need to hit it in a way that when we can see it. So as we're predicting the orbit of smaller asteroids, like a little moon, or mini moon if you want to, then through the light, we can see how the orbital period has changed after impact. So that was a key thing they had to do right here. And here we had a video. So that video was 2 years ago. Let's see if I can show it to you. I'm going to turn off the sound. So here we can see the larger asteroids that was the center, and we have here the tiny one that they were trying to do a collision. So here you could see everybody was excited. I remember watching this a few years back. So you could see the probe is getting closer and closer. Let's see if I can move it forward a little bit. And you can see here we were aiming for this celestial object right there. Getting closer. So you could see getting closer, and it was amazing because you could see quickly some of the rocks, the last picture before the collision. And let's see, So here they had, there we go. And there was contact. So that the first thing they had to do is make sure they had contact. Now, it is an interesting project because it does work in this idea that we have asteroids around the Earth, and how can we find ways to change their orbit. So what they did, they had the data of the orbit before the collision, and then the information after the collision of this one right here. And what they noticed is that the orbit that was taking about 4.3 hours to go around the center one here, it had changed by 32 minutes. It was still orbiting this asteroid, but they had changed the momentum of that celestial object. So that was exciting. So that shows it is a success. So that shows that the technology that we have, we can actually do this. So the big question we have indeed is, how will we be able, if we end up with an issue where, let's see if I can bring it back a little bit. So here, 32, oh, there it is. So the big question here is that if we end up with a situation where we have an asteroid and an Earth coming close by, could we have an impact like long time prior to the orbit getting close to Earth and saving Earth, if at some point there ought to be maybe a situation where we have, let's see if I can do this, a situation where we have an asteroid that could hit us. Good question. That's all part of what scientists are discovering. Scientists are creating innovation to make sure that our planet stays safe. If you've enjoyed this video, I'm going to put here a link to the information I had on DART a few years ago, and I'll put the video right here.